What's going on? What's going on? I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I hope all is well. Before I get started with today's episode, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate your support. This is actually episode 255. 255, and today's topic is let's talk. Let's talk. There's a lot. There's a lot. So within this one little episode, I'm kind of going to talk about the ebb and flows of life and just in general. Some of the ups, some of the downs, some of the things that we go through, and being patient, uh, emotionally, physically, just through and through, just trying to be patient through the ebb and flow of life because you get hit with so many different things. And if you're not careful before you know it, if one thing happens on a Monday, something happens on a Tuesday, something happens on a Wednesday, something happens on a Thursday, by Friday, you are fried. You are burnt out mentally. You are disconnected emotionally, and you don't know where to start. You got ripped from pillar to post. So a lot of times we really have to know how to just unplug and really get ourselves rooted again because life happens. In my personal life, the last, let's say, month and a half, 2 months, it's almost like my wife and I have been on this roller coaster of homegoing services for our loved ones and people that we're very close with. And it's tough because you have that on top of just everyday work, your everyday workload, just things that hit you out of nowhere. And like I said, it's tough. So you have to be rooted. You have to be grounded. You have to know how to kind of pay attention to what your body is telling you because you can easily be all over the place. You can easily be all over the place because that's just the ebb and flow of life. And I want to pivot for a quick minute into the goodness of God, right? And God's good grace in all of our lives. So there comes a point in your life where, again, everything is happening so fast, so rapidly that you don't know where to turn. And I would like to take this moment in time to share with you just a different perspective. If you are a believer and if you have faith, then you know God is never going to put more on you than you can handle. And even through that perspective, if you sit down for a minute and pay attention to everything that's going on around you, you can see your way through with God's good grace. Prayer, God answers prayers. My mother was what you would consider a prayer warrior. She prayed, and I thank God for her prayers. What I'm sharing with you is just a perspective of God's grace and how things happen in one's life. And again, if you're paying attention, you're watching maybe other people go through some struggle. You're watching maybe other people go through, deep depression. You're watching people go through burying a loved one. You're watching people go through hardships financially and all these different things. Prayer is a key component in my personal life, in my family's personal life. We really believe in good grace and in God's timing. A lot of times we want things to happen in our timing. Doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. It's God's timing, right? So when you're watching others go that I mentioned, or you're going through these things that I just mentioned, and you are pushing and hoping for these things to just stop, right? You have to sit for a minute and realize it's God's timing, right? And will. You do these different things, and a lot of times free will kicks in. What does that mean? So you may have those, well, I don't understand why is all of this happening? Well, God also provides us with free will. We have the free will to do all the decisions in our life, right? So a lot of times we may make a decision, we may go through something, and we put ourselves in a position of a crossroad. Maybe we made a decision that opened up a situation that we probably opened up a door that shouldn't have been opened. Maybe the decision and we allowed somebody in our inner circle that probably shouldn't have been in our inner circle, right? So that opened up different things that shouldn't have been opened, negativities that shouldn't have came your way or whatever, right? Our free will did that. So it's just paying attention to those minor details and paying attention to those things that really help us to mature in areas of our lives that we really need to mature in. And again, that's even at God's good grace, because we may open up a door and let somebody in that shouldn't have been part of a situation that we thought was good. And then all of a sudden that situation turns sour. We pray about it. And then here comes God, his good grace helps you to pivot left to get away from a situation that could have been really devastating to you and others. And you wind up coming out on top, or you wind up getting away from said problem. God's grace. So keep that in mind whenever you're going through something. You can work your way through it. You can see your way through it, but you have to be grounded enough and patient enough and paying attention to details enough to get around some of these things. There's a lot going on. Oh my God, there's a lot going on. Every time you turn on the news, there's something else happening. But God's good grace and your faith and your self-belief and your ability to unplug for a minute, take a deep breath, know that you'll work it, you can get through it. You'll work through it no matter what it is. You'll work through it. You need some time. Everything doesn't have to be quick, fast, in a hurry. You need some time to work through it, and you will. You'll see the other side. You'll see the light on the other side. You'll get to the other side. That's what you want. Timing, prayer, God's grace in your life, even killed. Deep breaths. You will see your way through it. Please understand that everything does not have to be done today. Map it out, work it out. You'll see yourself through it. In closing on Let's Talk, be open to when people are coming to you, loved ones in particular, and they can see you struggling, but you didn't say it, but your nonverbal communication and your body language is showing it to others. Be open to a conversation when your loved ones are coming to you, or your close friends who can see your nonverbal and your body language change, and they know something is wrong. Be open to suggestions when it comes to people having your best interest at heart. And you know the ones that I'm talking about in your personal life. Not just anybody, but the ones that you know for sure have 100% your best interest at heart. Be open to those conversations, because those conversations are definitely much needed. Just be open. Keep an open mind. I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I'll see you next week. Take care.